Hello once again! John here, the voice outside your head, welcoming you back to Disco Elysium. Now, last time we discovered one hell of a secret about the body. What was apparently a lynching was actually a cover-up, since the mercenary had already died from a gunshot to the head. I've since decided to follow up on Joyce's info about the drugs, provided she helps us get some real answers about what's going on. We'll also meet our witness, get cleaned up from the autopsy, and I'm debating whether to try pressuring Hardy's guys directly or work around them. They're hiding something, and feeling mighty clever about it. I also remember Kim mentioned some kind of competition between our precincts over Martinez. I'll ask him about it later. For now, let's ask her about this drug trade she mentioned.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I did ask for a few side questions, both on and off camera. I've got an hour to kill, and I'm getting a better handle on how time works, and some chit-chat's a good way to roll the clock forward. Electrochemistry thinks the way to earn a stranger's favor is to admit their rival is helping me find my lost gun. Now, it's interesting I can't tell her ass to cook to ease off with the vodka. That may be a bug, or I might be missing something with the quest. Alright, let's see what she says about drugs. So someone is running raw ingredients for drugs through Terminal B at the docks. These get smuggled into Revachol, and the Union turns a blind eye to it. Production happens elsewhere in the city. The Union doesn't actually make or sell the drugs, but they get a cut for transporting the ingredients. They're most likely being moved out by trucks, and visual calculus notes how convenient it is they're currently stuck before the docks, cut off by the bridge being up. The drug trade would explain how the Union has been keeping the strike going for the last 4 months. They put the squeeze on local merchants, but that alone probably wouldn't be enough for some 2,000 dock workers. Ah, clever. Wild Pines is the reason the bridge is up in the first place. Joyce pulled a few strings to keep the trucks in Martinez. That won't last forever, though. Eventually the bridge has to be lowered again. I'm embarrassed to admit I didn't think of this until now, but yeah, Kim would have needed the bridge down to drive in. Considering the RCM's tenuous authority in the district, he's probably lucky they agreed. Or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. She mentions that Martinez is kind of an orphan district between two precincts. Wild Pines tried to bring this to the police, but nothing came of it. Yeah, let's do it. I know Messier's in it for her company's interests, and it's probably tangential to the murder case, but we need more information about the victim. He was probably hired by the company. Besides, something tells me the Hardy boys would know something about this drug business, too. With derealization learned, I decide to ask more questions about reality. Note that the conceptualization check is almost guaranteed now, letting us ask a question about something fundamental, namely, the world itself. Imagine waking up and not knowing what Earth is. The continents, the countries, the cities, nations and races and history, it all means nothing to you. What do you even do? Elysium. Welcome to the world. Their version of the 70s hasn't had anything like the space race, but high-altitude weather balloons have been getting a clearer picture of the world. What they've seen is hard to explain. What should be a planet seems more like a series of land masses, separated by something called the Pale. Something about this worries Half-Light, our fight-or-flight instincts. What she's describing is like if instead of oceans, our continents were separated by something else. Sounds wild, whatever it is. Kim is weirdly eager to change the subject. We may need to talk to her when he's not here, get a sense for what this Pale thing really is. We could just ask him to step aside, but I'll just come back later when he's busy with the body. Bad luck with esprit de corps. I'm telling you, 72% is fucking cursed. Asking about herself, what she really is. A lot of ways to interpret that, but in the context of Revachol, can only mean politically. Dios mío, a liberal! Oh god, I wanted to pick that so badly. That works on so many levels. But nah, ultra-liberals are the business class and surviving elites that welcomed the coalition when it took over. Kinda libertarian, but mostly just broadly supportive of capitalism. It's argued that they sold out the revolution in so doing. Electrochemistry likes her. It seems like she doesn't hide what happened. She's under no illusions about where this puts her politically, but it doesn't dissuade her thinking. Yeah, you sold out your country. That's my fetish. Don't get me wrong, for someone that's gotta be in her 60s, she's not bad looking. It's mostly her attitude I like, though. She doesn't hide things, she's open about her affiliations, but she has a kind of sense for whimsy. She's professional, but she parties. I like that in a lady. In spite of calling herself an ultra, she's still a kind of patriot. She wanted Revachol to be sovereign territory. The liberals tried to pick up the pieces, but gave away too much in the process. One more failure in a nation with a long history of them. And she's married, of course. I'm sure she would have taken the pickup line well. Just trying to kill some more time. I think we've gotten all we can from her until we send Kim away, or find out more about the smuggling operation. Kim, still hoping my eccentricities will throw her off somehow. Don't worry, man, we've got her right where we want her, by doing exactly what she wants us to do. Look, it's not a great plan, but I'm taking suggestions here. Let's spend that point real quick. At this point, I remembered that I needed to have tools equipped to use them, and both Mr. Crowbar and his partner the Chain Cutters could help us open some locked containers. Let's go looting. Yeah, see? New coat with a suggestion bonus, just lying here in the trash. Why not? Stopping to talk to Cindy in case she's got anything we missed.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Apparently we can ask her about the victim's armor. She's no snitch, but she's got a soft spot for sad cops, apparently. The little girl in the fishing village might have the gloves. Odd considering their size, but, well, a lead's a lead. Well, thanks, Cindy. Keep on painting. Hey, look at that. $5. That's dollar menu money. Wonder what the equivalent to McDonald's would be, come to think of it. Now I'm hungry. I just ate too. Damn it. Stomachs are evil, man. They fucking control you.
Yes?
I remember I still need to ask Kim about the competition. With the body gone, he should have more to say about it. Joyce alluded to this earlier. It's not clear if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor, and the respective precincts are bickering over who gets to police it. Dispatch told both precincts, and each sent an officer for what he calls a cop-off. Kim takes a dim view of all this. He's here specifically to spoil the competition, and he has a laser-like focus on actually doing his job. Begs the question of what I'm doing here. Based on what I've discovered, I've assumed it's some kind of joke, or a desperate ploy of some kind. We all know the real answer, of course. I'm here to teach Kim about style. Lord knows I'm not going to use myself as some kind of fashion example. To judge by his response, though, Kim was somehow even more professional a while back. And it makes sense. You've seen he has his moments here and there where he kind of goes with the flow and shows off his own personal tics. Anyway, it still doesn't answer why we're here. Oh god, 72%. Fuck, here we go! Oh, thank god. Logic dropping a truth bomb on us. A raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late and argues with his necktie. We got sent to fail as a joke, as an insult to the other precinct. Kim seems to think that's not the case, though. This argument goes back decades. Sounds like both stations really would prefer a win. And besides, he sees something in us, keeping us going. Hobocop's a weird guy, but he's not out of the game yet. Volition says all we've got is paranoia. Let's focus and get back to it. Still no sign of our smoker friend, but we can at least pop this container while we're here. Every little bit counts. Since we've got a little time yet, I decided to run out and talk to some of the drivers, get started on the drug case before they pack it in for the day. Just trying to lock here with the tools. No dice, sadly.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep? Pigs come to take me out? Trying to snuff me out?
Thought she might have something to say on her own, but nah. Kuno does what can loosely be described as the thinking for the pair. Be calm, citizen. Just a police officer in a trench coat strolling up to you with a crowbar and some chain cutters. There, see? Definitely not a serial killer now.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
Hi, we're the police. Say, you know where we can score some drugs? Yeah, there's a bit of a hippie in this guy, I can tell. If this were CSI, we'd already be slamming this dude's head on the roof of a car. But no, Tommy seems like a decent guy, so let's just ask and see where this goes. Just trying to stay out of trouble until the blockade ends. Not a bad idea considering what's going on. Could be our racist friend from the Fritz store, but there was that old lady who was kind of spaced out from before. She didn't respond last time, but maybe we can get her attention for some questions. She's still kind of out of it.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Where am I? Who are you?
Oh yeah, I'm a reverse hypnotist. Pardon me, ma'am. Just looking for some drugs.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in the traffic jam. In the 50s. Back in Mefke, during the time of the revolution, the sidewalks and coffees are filled with young people. I was on my way to see a nearby daily picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you come along, that is. I wasn't dreaming. I was there, low man. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden. While you people were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution. In Mefke, it was a golden age. Someone was. They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They are beautiful. That is all that matters, beautiful and true. And they will win. They are coming for this, you know. All of this. This is Gabriel Buenguerro. He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of the cinema whenever he came on the screen, and schoolboys used to memorize all his lines. Why not, Herife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and say she was probably not at the hanging. Our pale driver here is a bit of a dreamer, quietly lost in another age. For her, they're more than just dreams. Getting a vibe of some indigenous culture too, though I'm not sure where Mesk, or Methka, how she pronounces it. I'm not sure where that corresponds to the not-quite-Europe world around Revachol. She doesn't seem to care much what gets loaded, and gets something out of the act of driving itself. Kim doubts she's the smuggler, though a driver that doesn't ask questions would be pretty useful as one. I note the name Pale Driver. Joyce mentioned the Pale, and she's talking about taking routes no one else will. Ride until you're dust, sister. It's at least worth asking her, even though I'm pretty sure she'll tell us anything just to make us go away. She mentions a great adversary. Rhetoric recognizes it but doesn't elaborate. There's more to this woman than meets the eye. When in doubt, try being precise. Joyce said the shipments are coming from Samara. Yeah, it's probably not her. And if it is, we're not getting anything out of her at the moment. Sending us back to Tommy, probably because he's the only guy in sight. Yeah, we're done here. Let's go. Alright, it's finally 9 p.m. Let's go meet our witness. We'll check on this guy, then have Kim take care of the body before we call it a night. There he is. Oop, clicked on the door on accident.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
I'll note that nobody else around here uses the term. Our smoker friend isn't quite from around here.
Beautiful. So tell me, are you here to make things right again? Then I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you, and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
He's being cautious, and not without cause. This neighborhood doesn't seem like it takes kindly to snitches. Our inner thoughts seem really taken with this guy. Calm down, fellas. We're on the Alice route this playthrough. I'm sure there's a perfectly logical reason why he's being evasive about who he is, why he keeps calling this guy a Sunday friend, or what this friend was doing in his apartment on the night of the murder. Oop, we got stuff to click on first. Yeah, let's loot this guy's place before interviewing the witness. We're professionals. You'll note we got a level up just from that thought bubble. That's derealization giving us 1 XP for each one. Fancy robe, conical hat, men's perfume. The guy's seemingly here on business, but you don't have to read too much between the lines to figure out what these two are up to. Underground parties. Yeah, I believe we found the gay Freemasons. They're like the regular Freemasons, but fabulous. Can't decide how to spend the point. We'll save it for later. Hi there, totally normal person, here for totally normal reasons.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
Authority can tell. Our boy's here on official business. He knows who we are.
My name is Charles Villedron. I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stability on assignment from Sir Leclerc. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I'm here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
In spite of the unusual circumstances, he is willing to cooperate behind closed doors.
I got it from the head of the Samoan delegation on my trip to Lomanthang. It's made from a special charcoal-colored bamboo. It's an emblem of the formal normalization of our diplomatic relations.
Rhetoric picks up on diplomat speak.
That's really all I can tell you about it.
This guy is who he says he is. Right then, let's get to business. From the top, please. The neighborhood turned a blind eye to what was happening. The Hardys didn't want witnesses, and everyone knew that. Confirms our victim was in no condition to resist. Eight of them. Matches the footprints we saw at the crime scene. He went inside and didn't see what happened next, but there was no shouting. Note that he previously described it like a play. All men. Matches some of the descriptions of Hardy's group. And it was quiet for a lynching. No shouts or cheering, no nothing. They strung him up and that was that. Like they knew there was nothing to celebrate. Well, for all the build-up, he doesn't tell us much we don't already know, but confirming this was still very useful. It corroborates the details we've been uncovering. 8 Hardy boys, hanging a man that was already dead. So what is this coalition official doing here in Martinez anyway? Inflation, of course, that's why everyone comes here. Sounds like some real estate thing. He's renovating the building, which is probably part of how he met his smoker buddy. So basically, he works for the same people we do, the Moralist International. That's why authority was deferential to begin with. Pretty sure that's a goof here. He introduced himself as Charles Villedron, but the name here is Tomas. Anyway, the moral intern is pretty much a stand-in for the EU. We've discussed previously that the coalition is the alliance they formed specifically to quash the revolution and rule in the aftermath. Kim is broadly supportive, but I get the impression it's born of pragmatism. He focuses on the job and leaves the bigger questions to people higher up the food chain. Which is not, of course, to say he doesn't have opinions on the subject. Not gonna lie, it's real easy to pick none of the above when the options are varying flavors of extremism. There are degrees of nuance not being captured here. You can support capitalism or communism while acknowledging the flaws in each and building out to accommodate for them. Whatever results, you can call that whatever you want. But in Revachol, failed examples of rigid ideologies are legion. It's ultimately just picking which failure you have the most sympathy for. This dude really loves to hear himself talk. Other than being political opposites, him and Claire would probably get along famously. Both him and the smoker are weirdly coy by the guy's name. They always deflect, like the name itself would be damaging in a way everything else we now know wouldn't. Or maybe he just doesn't know the guy that well. A casual hookup, as it were. He is only a Sunday friend, after all. Yeah, say what you will about neoliberalism, but this guy views everything through a business lens. Money first, feelings later, if ever. Logic figures it out. He'd rather not be seen hanging out in some guy's apartment in a slum late at night. Yeah, I think we know all we need to from this guy. Let's go. Thanks for talking. Good luck with your inflation. That whole thing reminds me of the movie Go. There's a scene late in the movie with two actors that play cops. They're also a closeted gay couple, and they go to some other couple's house to beat a drug charge. It's a long story. Anyway, the scene keeps shifting between whether they're being propositioned or being asked to help sell knockoff Amway products. It's a weird movie, but an interesting one. It's by the guy that made Swingers. Point is, that's the vibe I get from what just happened, that everything with a Sunday friend is a transaction of some kind. Right, let's go bag our friend and get him down to processing. How you doing, Bear Fridge? Still spooky? Yep, still spooky. Bye, Boots. Maybe next playthrough. And he's off. And we're alone again. Right. Let's talk to Joyce before we turn in. Find out what this pale thing is. Because we are in the best possible state for stuff that Kim apparently thought would blow our fragile little mind. Gotta say, it's rather disquieting not having Kim around. A lot we could do without him. We could actually break into that chained up room in the apartment complex, for instance. But I don't know, it's kinda nice having a partner. Especially one that didn't lose his gun.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Alright, I'm ready. Let's talk. So Isolas are basically land masses, continents. There is water, obviously, but all the major chunks of the world are separated by pale more than they are the oceans. And here we go. The pale is not matter. It's not antimatter or even space as we understand it. It's essentially a featureless nothing. Within the pale, reality as we know it stops working like it should. Physics, thought, language, even numbers stop working somehow. We are separated by zones of unreality. It is possible to traverse the pale, finding ways to shorten the distance through it. Radio signals can get through. However, it's difficult to navigate. People can get lost, or their minds damaged from exposure. It's not clear whether the damage comes from sensory deprivation or the pale itself is doing it somehow. Some argue that it's the rarefied past, suspending laws that aren't laws, like history. The human mind, she says, becomes over-radiated by the past. Civilian traffic is limited to 6 days of exposure per year. Logic can tell it's far more for her. The business class can go more than 3 times as much. We've spoken to someone else like this, the Pale Driver. Suddenly her name and behavior make a lot more sense. Specialized airships can get through the Pale, and trucks like hers are carried in them. Joyce knows she's over-radiated. There's a certain fatalism about all this. That was me, sorry. I left Discord open while recording, forgot to mute. So yeah, we're about 6,000 kilometers from the end of the world. Some cities are much closer. Where the world and the Pale meet, matter seems to evaporate. She seems mesmerized by the sight of it. Disco as hell, as she puts it. So there is a field of study about the Pale, entroponetics. It's not even a new discipline, it's been studied for thousands of years, which means the Pale is a very old phenomenon. The Pale Driver mentioned the Western Plain, and there were successful crossings in the past, before modern science and engineering. Nowadays, aerostatic aircraft can get through the Pale at high speed, which minimizes the effects of it. Bloody hell. Sorry folks, didn't think OBS would pick that up. It's supposed to just grab audio from the game. I'll have to mute that next time. Anyway, as fast as these aircraft go, it's their means of propulsion that gets them through the Pale. If they're not precisely aimed, they get lost. It's worse than that, though. The Pale is growing. It's not known how fast, but it is covering up more and more of the world. The conclusions are obvious, and most people try not to think about it. Not like we can do anything about it. She asks what we think about it. What can you think about a reality warping phenomenon that's slowly consuming the world? Do you cling to ideology in the hopes of stopping it? Or do you abandon it and just marvel at the spectacle? In the end, we cling to each other. We build cities and civilizations for a reason. Because even if reality is fraying at the seams and all seems hopeless, it's better to face it together. It makes life easier, and life, for all its failings, for all its tendencies to be islands of comfort amidst a sea of frustration and exhaustion, even that life is still worth living. Thanks, Joyce. I know you're mostly just looking out for wild pines in this, but thanks. Have a good night. Funny. All this seems a lot smaller now, doesn't it? The strike, the politics, even the murder. How much can it mean if most of the world technically doesn't exist? And yet, knowing the big picture doesn't make us any bigger. We're small people with small roles to play. And right now, my role is to head to my room and have a fucking drink. Kind of melancholy, the piano version of the background music. Just debating whether to try talking to anybody before turning in. I forgot that Garte doesn't sell drinks, and he probably wouldn't sell any to me regardless. Gotta try hitting that karaoke stage one night. I know that's a thing later on. Poor Hobocop. Just wants someone to talk to. You know, for the experience. That's how he levels up, after all. He's running out of new people. Come on, Daddy needs points and composure. Uh-oh. Electrochemistry's trying to make us a smoker now. Come on, man. We're not savages here. We can at least get some intact cigarettes. Not that I'm going to. Not that I'm thinking of how good it feels to light up and just let myself go for a while. Sorry, where was I? Oh right, don't smoke, kids. Amusingly, there's no option to not put it on your tasks list. It's like the boots thing. Your thoughts are using gameplay elements to leverage control over your brain. I mean, I want to be a cool renegade man, but is there maybe a cartoon camel who could be making this pitch instead? Bonuses? Well shit, now you're talking, son. Now, we're gonna try not to light up, but part of me is morbidly curious what going full druggy would be like. Just running around licking countertops while Kim quietly grinds his teeth. Apparently, we can use the chain cutters to fix the faucet. Or we could, if we had them equipped. Our interfacing isn't great, though. We also don't have a good shot at finding the source of the expression, although really it shouldn't be hard to guess by now. So about that point we saved up. And like that, I'm better at plumbing. Not that much better, though. Still, what's the worst that could happen? Hell yeah. Fuck you, 72%. 42 is the thinking man's percentage. Despite the chain cutters not really being a pipe wrench, we can use them just enough to stop the steam cloud. It helps us stop the expression, but our electrochemistry is still far too low. And really, nothing kills the expression. It's like the grimace. But it's something. We get experience for it. It's why we do everything. Anyway, let's get that death smell off of us. Dim memories of the past. Out there somewhere is our life. The parts of it left that we forgot about. Take a bath, level up. See, this game's not all about rewarding bad habits. I go back and forth between pain threshold and endurance. The latter gives health, but the former comes up more often, since it also applies to emotional pain and discomfort. Another case where you could probably squash the two into one, but there are subtle distinctions to be made. It's about whether you can physically handle the damage and psychologically cope with it, though only one gives you more health. Anyway, speaking of bad habits, it's drink at o'clock, my friends. Give me that bum wine. I like how electrochemistry starts out calm here. Just, well, hello. I only noticed this afterward, but the interface sounds also echo while you're in the bathroom. Volition tries to warn us, since we did kinda sorta have a heart attack earlier just trying to get our tie down. Substance abuse time makes a compelling argument. I have been selfish. Just this once, let's do something for someone else. That, coincidentally, is all in my head. This drink is for our relationship. The one between a man and his inner voices. Oh yeah! So this does give us a buff to physique for a small morale hit. Lasts for a while too. We've got a couple more uses if we really need to Popeye some shit. In light of the Pale, To the Void We Must Return takes on a disturbing new context. Really, I think we can forgive Hobocop wanting to take the edge off after that one. I do like that there's this cosmic phenomenon, but they're like actually trying to study and work around it, and it's not just some forever mysterious thing. It's like the Zone and Stalker. The mystery is ever present, but it isn't sacrosanct. People want to understand this strange new aspect of reality. Alright, time to crash. Good night, Revachol.
Here we are again, my broken bird. The waves are coming, carrying you away. But you can't go. No, you have to stay. Always half aware of yourself. You're not cooperating, brother man. It's your disgusting body. Even through your sleep you feel a vague discomfort suffusing it. Your belly and your sides are unpleasantly tender. You wish you could curl up into a fetal ball of safety. But you cannot, because of the pain.
So we're clear, is this about my past drinking or my present drinking?
Now, you're finally thinking about something other than yourself. Let's see how far that'll get you.
There's no dignity here. Only reflections of your body mass. Flashes of the day. You keep coming back to yourself in the mirror. But why? To admire all your accomplishments? You're just stuck here, in the half-world. Could try looking at other people. Really looking. But why would you want to start doing that? Sure you do. They're all so friendly, aren't they?
Some of them are. Some of them are nice. Others are scared.
What do you think you're doing right now? Coming to some greater awareness? Look at all these lights, blinking in and out of existence. Thoughts. You're just pretending that you're asleep, even to yourself, while the world goes on without you.
Let it. Let it.
But it never seems to let you go, does it? Time to rise and wipe that shining sweat off as best you can. Gather your bearings. Rock and roll.
Alright, lesson learned. From now on, do all my drinking earlier in the day. I'm curious what Kim's debriefing would be if we left the body there overnight. I could see him getting antsy about getting that sent out as soon as possible. Poor guy probably had to work late and didn't get much sleep. I gotta buy him those rims back. He's really going the extra mile for this case. Anyway, back to reality. There he is. Hey, we got some other cops here. What's this about?
Yes?
By the way, I found out the world's slowly dissolving into unreality. Cool, huh? Yeah, it was mostly about making sure we could handle the news. To be fair, it's a hell of a thing to learn about after what Hobocop's been through. Stable it is. Let's bounce.
Can I help you?
Paying the bill for tonight, here you go. Right, let's see what's up with these two.
I would really prefer not to talk to you right now. Yes, I am. I know.
Here's the real deal.
Behind all sarcasm lies a grain of truth, Kim.
I don't know. I mean, why would I want to talk to you? No, you haven't wronged me. It's okay. Okay, fine. Let's talk. What did you want?
It's pretty clear this woman knows who we are, or at least knows us by reputation. This guy certainly does. I suspect the guy is gonna do the talking here.
You look like shit. And I don't mean that as a metaphor. Oh, don't be so modest. We are looking at several months worth of damage here. Kind of a miracle you're still up and at it, to be honest.
Come on, Jean. It looks like it's been a rough week on him.
It's not just this week. What do you want?
Visual calculus recognizes him somehow. Maybe due to the fact that his hair doesn't match his facial hair, for some reason. Esprit de corps seems to know something too. Oh no, 72. Come on, EDC, be a trooper! Yes! Uh-oh, pop quiz time. Guy's weirdly aggressive for someone trying to be incognito and spying on us. Well, maybe not weirdly. Hobocop is kind of a fuck-up that once had a really successful career. Yeah, honestly, I don't care if we were partners. Kim's more of a bro than this dude ever was. The way he talks, though, this is less about our protagonist tanking his career and more about being a star cop in the first place. It's possible Hobocop was very conceited while at the top of his game, or this could be just good old-fashioned professional envy. Kim explains the far-out Son of Lung, an urban legend about an officer who went far undercover and never came back. It's just trying to needle us, get under our skin. Frankly, it's working. Anyway, obviously this guy was Hobocop's partner at some point, and they're discreetly checking up on us. Alright, cop, I don't know. Let's talk shop. The detail throws him off, and reveals that he's wearing a wig. Yeah, it took me rewatching this to figure it out, but these are two of the officers on the line when we called about the missing badge on day 1. Jean Vicamer and Judith Minot. There was ridicule and hostility on the line, but Esprit de Corps pictured them as more sad and broken up than they were willing to admit to us. EDC isn't letting this go. It's a little redundant, though. We kinda did just ask him, albeit in an extended hypothetical.
Again, I can't believe this shit.
He denies it, but just to see how we react. Sure, man, whatever. Alright, enough of that. We're coming up on the end here, just gonna poke around the whirling a bit more. I noticed one other familiar face hanging around for some reason. Fancy meeting you here. What's happening, smoker? Be real, this is the only place to go in Martinez, isn't it? Yeah, we're getting a clearer picture of their arrangement. Our friendly neighborhood bureaucrat goes slumming for adventure while he's abroad. Very subtle. Long as he's here, I ask him about that other guy that interrogated him. I had previously assumed it was one of the Hardys going around intimidating people, but it's possible it was someone else. Someone connected to our victim, you might say, with a lot of very angry, very well-equipped friends, eager to put the fear of God into some trigger-happy good old boys. Yeah, the other mercenaries are sniffing around, trying to find out what happened. It's possible the Hardys have bitten off more than they can chew. Right then, so we have witness confirmation of all that we learned previously, but we still don't know who really killed this guy, or why. We've got a smuggling operation to investigate, and we might just be able to use all this info to make Hardy sweat a bit, see if some other info spills out. A lot of ways we can proceed for the next episode. But until then, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll see you next time.